all over the place, and White crashing into Kazitsky. The Demons mean business. Free kick played to the Saints, and I think against Jeff White, and it's 50. 50 paid, I think, by the non-controlling umpire.
Do you want the 50 or not? Do you want the 50 or not? No, you went in here. Go away. Let me take the 50, right?
I think it was Scott McLaren who paid the 50.
And it's on again in the inside the centre square. Gee, this has really set the tone for what promises to be a wonderful game of football.
So what they're doing, he's working Nick Riewold's shoulder over. He's copped a fair few hits on that right shoulder of his.
Well, the Demons mean business, and they have to, of course. It's such a crucial game for them as far as the season is concerned. Justin Kazitsky, who has been in amazing form over the last month, has a chance to continue that, and he does. What a start for the Saints. No real kicks in anger, but there's been plenty of other anger shown by both sides.
Well, obviously Melbourne have come out and they're going to be nice and physical, but we just see the free kick there. But it's important. Yes, you can be physical, but you're still got to, your focus is still got to be at the ball, and it's just important that Melbourne settle here.
And Brad Miller right in the thick of it, back in the Melbourne side, playing at centre half back. He's got the job on Aaron Hamill. What a start to this match. Carroll's got the job on Gehrig. And there's Miller and Hamill all going hard at it.
Riewoldt on the wing. He's been worked over
by Wheatley. So, back in the centre. White, Kazitsky. Well done, White. Got it out. Riewoldt in the thick of it. Should get the free kick. No. Play-on's the call.
He's hurt. No, Riewoldt's okay.
And we'll eventually get a bounce.
Gee, he was crashed into the ground by Wheatley. There's no hiding.
There you
the
go.
Demons' tactics
they
there.
have targeted him today. No doubt about it.
So he's lined up on the centre wing, the captain. Crunching tackle there from Wheatley. So we're underway again. Kazitsky, chance for Powell against his old team. Blake, it's a hot footy. Ball. Scrambles the kick, only as far as McDonald. Oh, handball to himself. We'll put that down as a stat. Inside attacking 50. A chance here. Riewoldt going back courageously. Wheatley releases Ward, who bangs away at goal deep into the pocket. Robertson, well done by Fisher. Robertson had the set, but Fisher worked back on him and was able to fist it over the line. Boundary throw in deep in the Melbourne forward pocket. Kazitsky up. Chance for Davey White at the back. He can turn to the left boot. Slap goal, but he misses to the near side. So early opportunity there for the Demons missed. The Saints lead by 5 points.
Emotions running high at the MCG. Brett Voss with the footy at fullback. He's got the short option on. And it's Penny back in the team who takes it and goes across to Baker, who's been a wonderful player for them this year. Enjoying career best form, averaging just under 13 disposals a game. Here's Riewoldt. Wheatley not that far away as the Saints look to try and move it. Most of the traffic indicators from his teammates were to go long, but eventually forced to go short. Back to Baker again. And he had a couple of options. One was Blake Long, and that's the one he chose in the end. He's under pressure here from Neitz. Well done by Neitz, but well done by Blake. And the ball is over the line and out of bounds.
And just a couple of matchups in the St.Kilda forward line. Brad Miller has got the job on Aaron Hamill, and Carroll has a job on Fraser Gehrig.
Well, good feel about this match. There's a finals-like edge to it. And the Melbourne fans happy to finally win the approval of the umpire with a free kick. Maloney's going to have to come back and take it.
Come round now, Brad.
Claren Bozzo and Davis adjudicating this afternoon. Brent Maloney, who started so well this year. Long, Johnson, one of the flyers at the back, sweeping Maguire. He's got Riewoldt waiting for the handball. Davey there to harass. Luke Ball puts a path, and his handball was okay to Riewoldt to get plenty of encouragement. And a good crunch after the kick. Fergus downfield. How late was it, do you reckon, boys?
Well, I reckon the umpires are aware that Riewoldt is being worked over. This is where Melbourne just need to keep their head. It was uncalled for, didn't need to do it.
Guerra, he's got Kazitsky as a target. Hayes pops up from stage right. to take the mark. I'm not sure where it quite got the contact he wanted, but he won't complain about the result. And Lenny Hayes, such a wonderful possession gatherer. 25 touches a game he averages through the year. He's probably been their most consistent player for the season yet again. So the Saints, who kicked their first goal from a free kick and 50-metre penalty, now get one with more conventional means, and it comes from Lenny Hayes.
Well, Michael, we talk about controlled aggressions. Both goals have been basically set up from free kicks downfield. The 50-metre one out of the centre square to Kazitsky, and now this one downfield. It hurts.
It certainly does. And Melbourne, as you said, Steve, you've got to control that aggression at the footy. Forget about the man. Nick Riewoldt involved early. And talk about controlled aggression. Melbourne, just a little astray in that department at the moment. Chance for wide up. The bounce was a shocker. Uze, now Whelan. Need to get on the board early here to the Demons. Short chip's okay. Maloney has got Johnson, Paul Johnson out wide. Decides to kick towards the leader, Neats. Well done by Del Santo. In fact, it was Voss. Riewoldt again, hurriedly.
Take it down again.
Does it brilliantly. Kick is okay. Hayes marked, and it's on at centre half back. Beautifully done. Off to Del Santo from 50. He loads up and kicks it over. Well, they're on fire, St.Kilda. There's the trouble spot at centre-half forward for Melbourne. But St.Kilda have focused on the football and are winning the hard ball and using it effectively.
Yeah, and once again, Michael, a free kick was given for the rough tactics on Riewoldt after he got disposed of the ball. The free kick was downfield, and another goal through a free kick. And we just see the roughhouse treatment Nick Riewoldt's getting at the moment. Good to see that his St Kilda teammates flying the flag.
And Nick Del Santo, only 3 goals before today. Hayes only 7, so those two prime movers in the midfield for the Saints. Kicking goals, which is another encouraging sign. As if they need any more at the moment. They lead by 17. White with the spike. Reed. He loves the skirmish or two. He should be at home today. Robertson trying to provide and dish off. He does for Maloney, who got plenty on it, but it's just off to the right. Still in? No, it was through from behind.
And we've spoken about Nick Riewoldt quite a bit this quarter, but he's had the 4 disposals, so he's getting plenty of the ball.
Voss to Penny, still inside defensive 50. Luke Penny, that's what's in front of him. A little undecided, so he chips to centre half back. Ball, in fact it's Baker. Baker long towards half forward. Whelan's got good position here, but good pressure coming there from Peckett. Well done, Reed, although the handball a little astray. Chance here for the Saints. And the free kick. Del Santo with the free kick. And Miller and Hamill have been at it too, right from the start. Aaron Hamill back in the side again today. Oh, gee.
Well, there we once again, it's a free kick, and they've got another shot at goal.
Free kick's 4-1 early, but Steve, it's a reflection of the fact that St Kilda are more focused on the ball than Melbourne. Great idea to try and exert an influence and a presence on the game early. You've still got to go at the ball. So Nick Del Santo here from just 30 metres directly in front. A chance for St Kilda's 4th. He kicks and he goes. So Nick Del Santo kicks his 2nd, and Melbourne in real trouble early. Steve, they've been playing without confidence in the last few weeks. This is the last thing they needed.
Well, obviously they're pumped up and they're really eager to do well, but your focus needs to be at the ball. And just at the moment, the 4 goals that St Kilda have kicked have all been influenced by free kicks they've given away.
Well, I just wonder how long Neil Danaher will take before he brings his stars onto the ground. Bruce and Johnston lining up on the bench this afternoon, and McLean. Maloney out of the middle, pumps it long. They need the skipper to come out and take charge. He does well, brings it to the front. Robertson, Davey, can he lift them? No, misses the mark. Brad Green, who was terrific last week. He's a little astray with the handball, but Davey there to pounce. Again, the Saints, though, getting a hand in. Uze, another one who needs a big game this afternoon. Was that a bit of interference? It was at the marking contest. And again, the physical nature of this game being shown on both sides. Wheatley to have the shot for goal, and we know he's a long kick, but not someone that finds himself in front of goal all that often. Just 23 goals for his career. Hasn't kicked one so far this season. He's given that plenty and covers the distance with ease. Maybe that'll give them a shot in the arm.
Well, it was good play that time by Melbourne. They were under pressure through their midfield. You can see the handball from here from Green. Didn't quite hit the mark, but Davey, good second effort there and good use by Adam Uze. And they need a big game from Adam Uze. And what a finish it was from Paul Wheatley from about 60 metres. So they need to get another couple of those, Melbourne, just to get right back into this game. And Melbourne need to change Brent's. Brock McLean there in the foreground.
And Travis Johnston on now, Sauce.
And with Cameron Bruce also.
So back in the centre, White up against Kaczynski. White gets it down. Well done though by Thompson. Powell, now Hayes. Here's the build-up from St Kilda. Gehrig one out with Carroll. He's pretty good, Fraser. Can't take the mark. Well done, Carroll. Brilliantly done, in fact. Handball off to Miller. Good tackle by Hamill. Still a chance for the Saints. Oh, beautifully done. Great cross, kicks a goal. Great pressure in that forward half by the Saints. The tackle by Hamill on Miller was an absolute beauty because I think Miller thought he was clear. And again, the spot fires break out. Maloney and Kaczynski involved, but St Kilda have goal number 5.
Well, forward line pressure, as you said, Michael, and their last goal came from forward line pressure as well, with Aaron Hamill applying the tackle. We just see the hit there on Thompson, but St Kilda have gone inside their 50 on 5 occasions for 5 goals, so that potent forward line is really working well at the moment.
So Thompson off with the blood rule, and Robert Harvey re-enters the MCG, to the plaudits of the Saints fans, who right at the moment must be licking their lips at the prospect of what's ahead for the next month. All the big guns back today, and at the moment they're cooperating beautifully. Again, White with the centimetres, using them to his advantage, and Travis Johnston in the thick of the action straight away. Baker and Davey, Uze and Peckett. And it's over and out. The Demons fans trying to lift. Look at this. And a free kick straight away going to Revolt. High was the call.
It's another free kick.
5-1 the free kick count, as Revolt drives it as long as he can. Hamill got Bizzle to contend with. Again, not clean though for the Demons. Guerra charging through. Free kick to Melbourne that time. And that was against Davey. Demons being reckless here at the moment. Ball in dispute on the wing. Ball wrapped up by Cameron Bruce, who, as we mentioned, started on the bench. He's on the ground now. Kaczynski's in there. Maloney. Travis Johnston eventually emerging. Peckett and Uze close to the line. And now it's over. Well, we have barely had time to catch our breath so far, Sauce.
No, well, it's pretty spiteful out there, and just at the moment Melbourne just need to slow the things down a bit, just focus on the ball, just try and pull this margin back by a couple of goals or two.
And Milne on the ground as well, as we saw. He was fantastic last week. In the back, free kick goes to McDonald. I'm surprised Milne started on the bench as Bruce sends Melbourne inside 50. Now there's a whistle, and it's going back to Luke Penny against Ben Holland for some interference.
There's the free kick that McDonald earned. It's with Penny. Back in this St Kilda side. One of 5 changes in the end. Bizzle marks comfortably. Such an important player in the defence for the Demons, as is this man, Jeff White. needs to dominate the ruck today. Maloney been busy early, out in front of Robertson, who marks on his chest. So Russell Robertson, who started deep today, has a chance. He'll kick from just inside 50.
Angle's right, Rusty.
And that was a super kick coming from Brent Maloney.
Pretty tough to stop on the lead, Russell Robinson. Explosive.
So Robertson, the Demons need a goal from right on 50. He loads up, and as he squeezed it home, I think he's kicked a goal for Melbourne. He has. So Russell Robertson kicks Melbourne's second goal. And you're right, Steve, they're down by 16 points. Don't need to panic. There's a long way to go.
Well, they don't, and they've just got to focus on the footy. Look, I think they've got enough forward line, talent up in that forward line to really trouble the Saints, but they've got to. Their focus needs to be on the footy. There are a number of blokes that were pushing and shoving. It's about working your opponent over now and focusing on the football.
Well, Neil Danaher will know that they're actually in front in centre clearances and inside 50s, but not where it counts on the scoreboard. Margin 16 points. White again giving them first use into Robert Harvey. Great tackling on Maguire, just able to shovel it forward. And now Milne's away from the Kaczynski handball. He's inside 50, he's dancing away as usual. And there was just a lovely little fist on that from Carroll, who's got a massive task this afternoon on Fraser Gehrig. Stephen Milne mentioned a surprise that he started on the bench today, boys, but he's on and getting active pretty quickly.
Yeah, 45 goals for the season would suggest that probably had the right to start on the ground. But
Well, 4 goals, 4 last week, Sauce. 21 possessions, 7 marks, so he was one of their best, the Saints, against the Magpies.
And he kicked 4 against Melbourne earlier in the year in round 4 as well.
So, back pocket, Carroll, wobbly old kick towards half-back, Revolt up high, couldn't hold on. Blake concedes ground. Kaczynski, the star of the last month, shocking kick, turns it over. Whelan thought about going, but instead kicks it out wide. It's got a couple of players. Ferguson, now where will he go? Back inside to Whelan. They're trying to keep it in the corridor. Bizzle, good tackle on him by Ball, and they've turned it over Melbourne. Ball fighting hard. Ball now in dispute. Voss did it pretty well. Baker pulled off, well done. Davey, brilliant pickup. Whelan, now they're a chance. Wheatley wide of the pack. He goes long towards full forward, just off the side of the boot, or maybe he's looking for Uze. Robertson, brilliant. Uze now, wants his left side from 40. Stands and delivers. Melbourne kick another. So Melbourne have kicked 3 of the last 4 goals, and after, well, a shaky start in terms of, as you said, Steve, a controlled aggression at the footy, they've found their feet now.
really smart play here by Robertson, just to tap onto Uze. But it's good to see they've settled. They've forgotten about all the hustle and bustling off the ball. Their focus is back onto the footy, something they needed to do.
Well, Grant Thomas just trying to work out how the Demons have got back in it. 11 points the difference. Now they're going to go forward again. They've been inside 8 times. Maloney and Wheatley have been primarily responsible for that. This time the White kick goes rocket-like onto the chest of Russell Robertson.
Superb kick by Jeff White.
And Russell Robertson, who's had a very good season, just been a bit quiet in the last couple of weeks, hasn't kicked a goal for the last 2 weeks, had 13 possessions and a couple of behinds against Fremantle.
How's that kick? Didn't break stride.
How's his moustache? 46 goals, 21 for the year. And this should be well within his range, and it is. Wow, the Demons in a blink of an eye, they're back in it. And what a game we've got, boys.
Well, yes, the value of getting the ball out of the middle, and we just see that superb kick by Jeff White. But you just sense Melbourne has settled now, and they're not worrying about all that that pushing off the ball. Their focus is back on the ball. Really important. They've got a very good forward line. They've got goal kickers up there. They just need the supply.
Captain Nick Revolt off the ground. It's been an interesting opening for him. He was targeted early, and St Kilda have already made the move. Penny now going on to Russell Robertson. Chance again for the Demons to get it out of the centre. Johnston, Whelan, well done by Del Santos, smothered the kick, but it got to Wheatley. McDonald, now a chance for David Neitz over his head. Penny, Hodgson now. Robin Harvey, started on the bench, delivers to Hayes at half-back. They look dangerous when they stream forward like this, the Saints. Milne's got the sit here, almost, couldn't quite hold on. Bruce. Now McLean, relieving the pressure. Davy's got to beat a couple here, needs to mark and does. Great stuff, Aaron Davey. In fact, he got the free kick.
It's your kick, go away.
Good stuff. Off to Uze, long towards half forward, just over the head of Johnson. The mark taken by Maguire. Wheels around into the corridor. Milne left unattended by Wheeland. Saints pretty open forward line, although Cameron Bruce is loose. Hayes, Del Santo, now Powell, who's well tackled by Jeff White. Jones kicks across the ground, Milne again involved. He's been busy since coming onto the ground. Oh gee, an ordinary looking kick into the path of Gehrig. Oh, it's a wrestle down there. Gehrig gets rid of Carroll. He can run into an open goal here. He does, he goes. Fraser Gehrig kicks his first of the afternoon. And the Saints break a run of 3 consecutive Melbourne goals and extend their lead out to 11 points.
Well, it's just sheer strength there by Fraser Gehrig. Just got rid of Carroll, who tried to maintain his feet, but that is just sheer strength. Have a look at the push off the ball, back on it nice and quickly. It makes it look easy.
Yes, he enjoys playing here, Fraser Gehrig. Last 5 games at the MCG has yielded 26 goals. There's Nick Revolt preparing to come back on. A steadying goal there by the Saints.
He's kicked 23 goals in 11 matches, all up against the Demons over the years, Fraser Gehrig. 6 his best effort. Out of the middle this time. Was there a throw? It was, and it's going Melbourne's way. Maloney. No, it's Jeff White.
Jeff White, your kick. Come back here, Jeff. Come round, your kick.
Now they've got themselves sorted. In the meantime, the Saints have been able to man up. Hudson and Neitz, he's one contest, but it's Holland who's the option he chooses. Fisher right there with him. Again, it's Wheatley to insert them in the 50. Although he won't, because the smother was fantastic from Voss. Surrounded by Saints. Kept his head pretty well, Wheatley. Holland finds that too overwhelming. A gang tackle in every sense of the word there, and we've got a ball up.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Grant Thomas would love to see that gang tackling. Their tackling's been good so far, the Saints.
Well, they've been physically challenged here this afternoon, St Kilda. They've really prided themselves in recent times on their toughness. Hayes, Powell's in there as well. Johnson was just about to make the great escape when the umpire blew the whistle, and Del Santo to take the free possession across half-back. He links up nicely with Hayes. He's got Hudson breaking for him, and Harvey in the middle. Well, he delayed his decision to kick in the end and goes a more direct path, although there's mainly Demon jumpers there, and Jeff White sprung to his feet. He was quickly off and running, committed himself to playing on. Johnson puts it in the path of Green. He's got to try and turn onto the left here. No, he uses the right foot, pops it up in front of Robertson. Penny right there with him. Neitz off the ground. Which way will it go? The wrong side as far as Melbourne fans are concerned. And the margin is back to 10 points. 6-1 the Saints, 4-2 the Demons.
Nick Del Santo, a little quiet last week against the Magpies, but he's had a wonderful season. Chips it short. Jones. Aussie Jones has averaged 15 disposals this year. Last year he averaged 19, so not quite up to his 2004 form. But a great kick out into the path of Maguire, who's been very good in the last 4 weeks as well. Coincided with a great run by the Saints. Powell loose on centre wing, he can go, and he decides not to. He's got Kazitsky, who's dropped back on Ferguson. He's got the sit here, Kazitsky. Up high, who interfered with Ferguson. Well done by Ryan Ferguson, Steve, there. Pushed back as a defender and drew the free kick.
Yeah. When you're in that position, you've got to push back hard, and he did it very well. Just interesting to see, Michael, that Revolt is back onto the ground, gone to full forward.
Hameloff.
Fans just digesting that, having a look at the replay as Ferguson kicks land on the wing. Johnson competitive, and Jeff White doing the roving. He's been prominent so far, White, hasn't he? linking up with Bruce and James McDonald in game 150. Green, the umpire in green, it both went down. Ball's on the ground, Fisher couldn't handle it. Robertson could. Oh boy, could he handle it! What a game as Robertson kicks his third. And the Saints have got a problem with Russell Robertson, who's now kicked 49 goals for the year.
And this is the collision here from the I mean, he's far too close to the action there.
Well, he should have put a shepherd on, shouldn't he?
Just ridiculous, you know. Like you're 2 metres away from a guy trying to put a tackle on. But anyway, great play by Russell Robinson, who kicks the goal.
He went and had a word to Brett Voss, to the umpire, as Robertson was celebrating that goal.
I'll tell you what, he's kidding himself. Have a look at that.
Yeah, he was within a couple of metres.
How could he have a word to Voss on that?
Well, he might be in trouble, Brett Voss.
Oh, please.
So, back in the centre, Kaczynski, this time beats Johnson. Del Santo. Oh, pickpocketed brutally done by Johnson. Now the electrifying Aaron Davey was taken low. No free kick. Chance for Fisher.
He's hurt.
Got plenty of time. Del Santo's run from the centre. He can run to 50. He can keep going, Nick Del Santo. Has got a problem with Johnson. Gets around him once and again. Wobbles at goal with Gary. It's through. It's a goal to St Kilda. Quite remarkable. And there's a right grin there from Nick Del Santo. It was an ordinary kick off the boot. It almost floated through. And Gary did very well to prevent Carroll from getting near the football. And St Kilda kicked a valuable goal. Let's have another look at it again.
Well, it was a throw that gets around Johnson and almost gets mowed down by Bruce. But that is one of the best floaters I've seen. This is the umpire speaking to Voss here. Obviously, Voss wasn't too happy that the umpire got in his way.
Oh, well, he didn't say anything to him.
Straight the footy, boys, can't go wrong.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens with that.
Well,
because
what can happen?
What can happen is Voss could be in trouble.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't think so. Aaron Davey back on his feet, which is good news for the Demons. Not good news is that the Saints are into attack again. And they're pushing hard. Brett Voss circling around. Blake charging through. Just couldn't get the ball out. Play on was the call. And now a chance for Milne to go to work. He always knows where they are, but this time he just couldn't get the footy where they are. And it's a behind. Interesting, Nick Del Santo's kicked 3 goals in this opening term. And here's the Davey one from before. He just pulled up sore, and given he did do that hamstring quite severely last year.
I think the trainer went out and just had a look at his ankle. He just rolled his ankle.
But just mentioning Del Santo, 3 goals, equal with the most number of goals he's ever kicked in a game.
So, mark taken by Uze. We don't often see him in the sleeveless, Adam Uze, but he is today. Oh, dear, we should be penalised, umpire. No. Now Miller's got a real problem here. He's got to get it out. He's got to get it out, Brad Miller. It spills out now. Melbourne, can they get away from this tight situation? It spills out to Wheatley. He's in real trouble. The tackling pressure for St Kilda is unbelievable. And perhaps a little lucky in the end, Melbourne there. Adam Uze just wasn't aware that Stephen Milne stalked him, crept up on him. And just at the moment that Milne arrived, the umpire said play on.
They're away here, the Demons. Carroll's got Bizzle going for him on the wing. He delayed his kick. Not sure if it was wise. It might work out okay. McLean, as they try and sort things out, just barges through. Momentum now swinging back the Demons' way as they move forward. But there's Saints swarming everywhere. Well done, Aussie Jones. Read it beautifully and delivers under the chest of Baker. He's got Montagna, who was a late inclusion, up on the wing if he wants him. Decides that Harvey's a better option, and now Harvey puts his foot down and fires the ball off to Blake, and the Saints are looking dangerous. Revolt's got away. Oh, he went out the back door, and Brad Miller was still looking out the front door. And Revolt was halfway down the street and takes the mark. And he's 40 metres out. And for all Melbourne's great work to get back in the game, if Revolt kicks truly here, the Saints will go in with a very handy lead. Already they lead by 11.
Set shots 15-17 this year, Nick Revolt.
And he's just away to the left there, so it's a 2-goal margin. And I really think Melbourne would probably take 2 goals given the position they were in when it looked like the Saints were going to rip it apart.
Well, they did. They looked in all sorts of trouble in the first 10 minutes of this quarter, but they've worked their way back into the game. Look, they've had plenty of the ball, Melbourne.
Wheatley to himself, then long. Target, Ben Holland. Can he gather at ground level? Saints get there though in numbers. Thompson. Maguire, wide-eyed. He bangs it long towards the top of the goal square. Gehrig in from the side. Miller gives his teammate a hand. Harvey, handball towards Revolt. Chance still the Saints. A chance for Robert Harvey. McLean didn't go at it hard enough. Now to Guerra, conceding ground. Blake, 45 from goal. Play on's the call there. Ball kicks it out wide. There's a poor kick in the road, Bizzle, and he'll get a free kick for a high tackle. The umpire saying it happened in the process of kicking, so it'll come back to clear Bizzle.
Uzo was off to the races then too, Chriso. That seriously disadvantaged Melbourne, that call.
Well, in fairness to the umpire, there was some doubt at the time when he called it as to whether the advantage would indeed be there for the Demons. As Bruce leads across, but Jones just props up beautifully in front. And the imprecise kicking there costing the Demons, and possibly dearly. As we clock inside the last 2 minutes, he'll have a chance, Voss, here for a bit of a run. Goes for Gehrig. It still almost went all the way. Now Miller, just a slight moment of indecision until he saw Cameron Bruce. Very positive stuff from Cameron Bruce, who started on the bench today. 4th possession coming up. Just poked the kick, and again it's a turnover, and again it's Brett Voss in the road. So Bruce playing without that confidence that we saw particularly early in the season. Brett Voss has had a terrific opening quarter. Well, he tries to go long for Revolt. The boundary umpire almost getting in the way, or the field umpire it was, but Revolt hooks it in and then goes to Gehrig. Again he went underneath it. Was there interference? No was the call. Green over the top. Wheatley towards the boundary line. The Demons defending grimly here in the last moments of this opening term. Into the slot for Aussie Jones. He swings it now. Ben Holland. Can he get there? Maguire. Commitment shown by Holland. Great stuff from both teams. Peckett bounces to his feet. Again, it's hot. Well done by Wheatley, who's been a star of this opening term. Releases Miller. And the Demons, well, they might be away, they might not be. Blake with some support. Peckett charging through. He had Milne in the pocket. Eventually he got through himself. Now Blake sets it up. It's Revolt versus 4 Demons. Numbers should prevail. Was there some holding on? No. Del Santo for his 4th! Oh my goodness! Nick Del Santo. He'd only kicked 3 goals for the season until today, and he's kicked 4 in the quarter.
Quite incredible, wasn't it? Looked like Melbourne had the numbers at the fall of that ball, but Nick Del Santo picks the ball up and snap. Let's watch it here. The high kick to the hot spot. Numbers there. Nick Del Santo between 3 Melbourne players, picks up the ball, snaps the left foot goal. Sensational. How quick was that?
Concerns for Neil Danaher. Saints have had the last 6 inside 50s through 33 minutes in this quarter. Blake over the top. Thompson, good tackle by Reid. Maguire towards half forward. And the free kick will come to Ferguson. So, against Montagna. And I suspect Melbourne will be a bit disappointed, particularly with the latter part in the last 4 or 5 minutes of that quarter, because their defence was under extreme pressure. But at quarter time, an entertaining and a tough, intense game of footy, the Saints lead by 3 goals.
Well, it was a tough opening quarter, particularly St Kilda getting off to a bit of a fly, some undisciplined act by the Demons, but they fought their way back into the game, got within 2 goals in that quarter, but it was St Kilda at the end that put a couple of late goals on, and I'm sure Grant Thomas would be delighted with the Saints start.
8 goals, 3, the 3rd highest score. And the Saints responded in great style. They lead by 18. What's ahead for the second quarter? We're about to find out.
White up against Kaczynski. White. Now Del Santo. What a star he was in the opening quarter. 4 goals. High towards half forward. Chance at ground level. Peckett. Well tackled by Johnson. Wheeling at ground level. Fighting hard for the footy. And what's the umpire going to do here? Umpire McLaren calls for it.
And Miller for Melbourne has lined up at centre half forward.
So a bounce on attacking 50 for St Kilda. Luke Ball at the base of that pack. White and Kaczynski. White again, decisively. Peckett hooks it back towards the goal square. Well done, Ferguson. An aggressive fist over the line. And he played it pretty well, caught behind. And we'll get a boundary throw in about 40 metres around from the St Kilda goal.
And the Melbourne key defending back half at the moment has stood up. The St Kilda tall forwards really haven't taken any contested marks so far.
White and Kaczynski again at it. Maloney was good in the opening quarter. Johnston started on the bench, as we've said. All kicked beautifully done by Hayes. He smothered it. Now Maloney. Now he's got a passage through an open middle of the ground. Maloney can keep going. He has 3 bounces. Long kick towards Robertson and Needs. Robertson couldn't quite get there. Needs to provide support. He's got a loose player at half forward. It's Brad Miller. And Steve, you mentioned he started at centre-half back on Hamill and has been moved to centre-half forward. Maguire with the job, and a chance here for that move to pay early dividends for Neil Danaher.
Yeah, I reckon it's a good move. I reckon they need to stack their forward line with their best quality players. He's done the job at centre-half forward for most of the year.
3 goals straight from set shots Melbourne this afternoon. Brad Miller from inside 50. Drop putt on its way. Oh, it's an absolute beauty. Melbourne draw first blood in the second term. And Brad Miller, well, he was involved in the heavy stuff early. He lined up on Aaron Hamill at centre-half back. But the early stage of this second quarter, he's certainly done the right thing at the other end of the ground. And good aggressive running and long kicking again by Brent Maloney.
Yeah, it was good running through the middle. It was hard running and good effort there by Russell Robinson. The kick here by David Neitz was a beauty. But good to see that move of Brad Miller at centre-half forward paying dividends.
So Neil Danaher taking the initiative, being bold, putting Miller to centre-half forward. It means, of course, Ferguson's got to handle Kaczynski when he pushes forward, which he's been doing after the centre bounces. Reed swing and a miss. Holland looks full of purpose. Maloney backing up. He's had a good day so far. Uze within range from there. Neitz and Robertson, the 2 contenders. Robertson got fingertips to it. I guess he had to go for it. And it's through for a behind. And their margin is now 11 points yet again.
Good work by Reed there out of the middle just to keep the ball going forward. A quick kick off the ground.
So Aussie Jones with the responsibilities. A medium range kick is okay to Penny, no one to dish to. He's got Maguire pushing for him on the wing. Not much else ahead at this stage. 8-3, plays 6-4. 4 goals to Nick Del Santo in the opening term. 3 to Russell Robertson. As Penny drives for the wing. Hamill with Bizzle there to spoil. Holland right over the top of it. Hamill wheeling. Great scrap. Somehow they got it out the back to Hayes. They're good at doing that, the Saints. Off balance ball. Somehow he managed to get it forward. Travis Johnston leading the way for the Demons. A little snookered, so forced to work his way back via Phil Reed through the middle of the ground. Tough one for White. It wasn't a good kick at all. And the Saints at the back to collect. Blake just pokes it. Not a bad kick for Hayes. Just for a moment I thought he was on.
Well, he's run through the middle of the mark there.
Yeah, it should have been 50.
Hayes drives it into the Carroll-Gehrig battle. And Carroll again just got the fist in at the last moment. That looms as a real danger though for the D's, that's for sure. Look at Wheatley streaking away. Puts his head up and sees Neitz versus Hudson. Hudson again in the right spot. What a star he's been this year. Turns it over, but Penny, the backup was fantastic for Maxie Hudson. And now Baker will be happy to get it over. No, Penny there. And the Saints have got the numbers at half-back. Cruel bounce for Harvey, but he makes it good. And now they can go. Blake with a hand pass, and Hayes is off.
Hayes on centre wing, chips it out wide. Revolt with a long lead. Boos from the Melbourne fans. The captain of St Kilda wobbles it inside attacking 50. Over the head of Kaczynski. Bruce. Earned the free kick, and he'll take it. Brett Voss, the offending player.
Got White free.
Johnston, that man White, is there on centre wing. Now where will he go? He goes very wide towards Uze. Don't know about that. Uze can't control it, so a boundary throw in at half forward for the Demons. Brock McLean, along with McDonald, Green and Paul Johnson on the Melbourne bench. So margin 11 points. Saints led the 12-minute mark of the opening quarter by 22. Holland down towards Maloney. Peckett applying the pressure. Maloney's got it. He's got a bit of a problem here. Play on's the call. Umpire just giving him every opportunity to try and get it out, and now he
That's
penalised.
ridiculous.
That ball came out, Sauce, and it
did.
bobbled back underneath.
And it's unbelievable.
I love watching every Saturday, watching Sauce, the frustration.
Like, you might as well not go for the ball.
He didn't
I mean,
drag
it's just
it back.
ridiculous.
He didn't drag it back in, Andy, the second time.
No, it found its way straight back underneath him, Chriso.
Well, he was set up, so bad luck there. Now it's with Fisher. Probing long kick inside, attacking 50. Oh, Hamill, what a spectacular attempt. He's been paid. Running with the flight of the football. He's back in the St Kilda side, the former captain. And here's that incident when it bobbles out. And it just bobbled back into Maloney. And the umpire ruling he had no.
That's
made no attempt. And what about the mark? Didn't hold on to it for a long time, but he did enough, Aaron Hamill. Perhaps a bit lucky watching that. So a chance here to extend the St Kilda lead. From just inside 50. Lovely looking kick. St Kilda have goal number 9. Aaron Hamill, his first goal of the afternoon after what's been a lengthy layoff. But, gee, what a performance. Great courage here as he attacked the pack. Eyes only for the football.
Yes, and it was a wonderful mark. You just see Clint Bizzle not fly there, expecting one of his fellow defenders to go for the spoil. It's a good lesson that never expect one of your teammates to go for a spoil in a contest like that. You need to go with your opponent.
Nick Revolt on the bench. Any troubles down there, Andy Marr?
No troubles down here at all, Hutto. Things are fine, thanks.
I didn't mean with you. I meant
either.
Yeah. Good on you. 17 points the margin. Ball not able to escape. Eventually, though, the Saints clear through Hayes and Pickett combination. Quick on the feet. Luke Ball, you can't keep him down. Long, and again it's strong. Kazitsky in good shape. Well done for Ferguson. He does well when he's out of position. Was that high on Voss? Play on the call. Harvey, Hamill all involved again. Kazitsky back to Hamill for 2 in a minute. Not this time. Gehrig in good position to take the mark. Left Carroll behind, but had to contend with Wheatley. And Wheatley is the leading possession winner for the Demons.
Honestly, mate. Deliberate. Free kick to St Kilda after the Wheatley kick was deemed deliberate.
Well, it should have been a high tackle on Voss, but nonetheless.
Let's have a look at this.
He tries to keep it in. That was the. That's.
We might have to remove you from the box, Sauce. I'm afraid you're going to be frustrated like this.
I can tell you now, some of these umpires haven't played football.
He's had a good couple of minutes, Scotty McLaren.
Zero tolerance in here, boys.
There's Paul Wheatley pleading his case.
So Kazitsky to line up for goal. Tough angle. He's just had the 4 possessions so far today. And the 1 mark after a booming month of footy. Kicked 17 goals in the last 4 weeks.
Great kick.
And you can add another couple to that after his second.
Well, that's Paul Wheatley. Steve, normally when you get this situation, if you kick along the line, which is what he did, he tried to keep it in almost.
Well,
I mean, what option did he have?
He did
hard up against the line.
He didn't try and keep it in. I'm not saying it should have been a free, but he wasn't trying to keep it in. He was trying to gain 20 metres and get it out.
Okay, well,
Where's he kick it to? Does he hook it over his head?
No, fair point.
so Paul Wheatley's paid the ultimate price there. Let's have another look at it. Normally, when you gain 20 or 30 metres along the line like that, it's not paid. Umpire McLaren paid it, deliberate out of bounds. And Melbourne have paid the price because it was a great kick from Kazitsky. Now Maloney breaks with the Jones tackle, and then another one from Ball. Long inside attacking 50. Need a mark here, Melbourne. Neats up, couldn't take it. Phil Reid, what's he doing in the forward line? He's well tackled. Out wide, Green, Robertson. Thought about giving it to Johnston, then towards Miller. Maloney also involved. Ben Holland knocks it to Green. They're fighting hard, Melbourne, to keep the ball inside their attacking 50. Blake knocks it to Ball. Scrambles a kick. Only as far as Uze, who wobbles it, floats it, in fact, towards 4-4. Robertson marks! He floated it onto the chest of Russell Robertson. It's not easy to kick a floater, Steve.
It's not, but I tell you what, as a defender, they're the worst kicks to defend against because you've got no idea when the ball's going to drop. And we just saw there that kick just floating in the air.
Here it is again, Adam Uze. He tried the torpedo, but it bobbled and floated and popped onto the chest of Russell Robertson, who's kicked 3. Now he's kicked 4. So Russell Robertson now has kicked goal number 50 for the season. He's had a great year, no doubt about that, but 4 goals in the early stages of this second term. And, well, good pressure in there, forward 50 by the Demons, Steve.
That was, they kept the ball alive.
Demons just doing enough to still be causing concern for Grant Thomas. And Jeff White, that time had it right in the lap with a poor bounce. Got it down to Miller. It's great to see the physical presence he creates for the Demons. Clears some paths and makes some teammates walk a bit taller. Good releasing kick out to Jeff White, who's providing an option on the wing. Maloney's played well. They need Neitz. They need him to start taking some marks up forward. And he rips that one down in front of Maxie Hudson.
Well, a couple of great efforts there. One was a Jeff White hit in the centre square bounce. It was a big hit forward, and we saw Miller come off the line and was able to gather the ball. I reckon it's great to see when you see a ruckman smash the ball forward. Miller's aggression there to be able to pick up the ball was a beauty also.
Well, David Neitz, just 2 possessions so far today. Only the one behind. What a boost this would be, but he's astray. And that must really irk him at this stage, as the Demons need every goal they can get to stay in touch with the Saints, who are out of the blocks so quickly today. 10-3 plays 7-5. MCG, Saturday afternoon footy. Sun trying to poke through. It's a mild day, and we've got a great contest.
Jones kicked to himself, then found Thompson. Oh, kicked almost off the side of the boot, but Harvey was able to dive and slide and take the mark on his chest. Robert Harvey. Great to see him back. Hayes methodically working it out of their defence in St.Kilda. Another chip kick at the feet of Blake. Couldn't quite control it. Confronted by Johnston, who's well tackled. What's the umpire going to do here? He calls for it as umpire McLaren. There's Jason Blake, perhaps in some trouble with a dislocated finger, perhaps.
Here's the goal square, or down near the goal square, Sauce. Kazitsky and Ferguson, they've pushed him right to full forward and pushed Gehrig up the ground.
Well, they've been rotating through there. Gehrig's had a go down there, Revolt's had a go, and now Kazitsky.
Hayes, well tackled by Green. Almost threw it out. Johnston, a little kick, little toe poke forward. Now a chance for the Demons. Ward. Outside is Uze. Uze tries to pull it back towards the goal square. One out, Neitz, and Hudson. Neitz almost. And there'll be a free kick here. His Neitz landed on the head of Hudson. And Hudson with the free kick. And he's got ball loose in the opposite back pocket.
He's got not much on here, Luke Ball. Told by his teammates just to keep running, because Itzy's going to try and push up and be an option now. Some heavy work going on off the ball. Paid as a downfield free, even though not much yardage was gained.
Not quite sure why, but anyway, St Kilda have it.
Yeah, a bit of interference off the ball, I think. Luke Ball now takes it from the Fisher kick. Kazitsky working hard. We showed him in the goal score a minute ago, and here he is, up on half back, taking the mark as those rotations continue. Maguire's got away from Miller. He's intruding into the forward line. We know he can kick a goal every now and then. And this is now and then. It's another one of the Saints and Maguire. Oh, they've got tall talent all over the joint, the Saints. 10-3-63 to 7-5-47.
And he just did it so well, Maguire. He just nudged his opponent Miller under the ball, and what a valuable commodity he is, a goal-kicking centre half back.
There's some overcommitment there from Brad Miller. Ball back in the centre, Kazitsky and White. Well done, Kazitsky. Thompson Fisher has been outstanding in the last couple of weeks. Kazitsky again on the end of it. Justin Kazitsky has a bounce if you don't mind. Back to Thompson, long to the goal square. In fact, it's askew and lands and scrapes through for a behind. He'll be disappointed with that, Andrew Thompson. Would have much rather kicked it to a central location, but a behind to St Kilda. The margin now out to 23 points. Some concern there for Nathan Carroll. Slow to get to his feet.
And they can't afford to lose any of their tall timber, can they, in defence? With such a potent forward line. Bruce the target, Harvey to test his marking skills. Umpire pays a free kick, an advantage. Bruce takes it, goes to the Miller Fisher contest. As it is now, Miller moves it on. Robertson, the man most likely there. He came from the side, couldn't take it in. Hamill showing his physical presence again. Jones, Fisher, Thompson.
Bruce is coming off with a left knee here, boys.
McDonald replacing him as Thompson finds a man loose at centre half forward. It's Hamill. That time he missed it with the flight. Bizzle's kick, interesting. It was pretty intricate. It was designed to find McDonald, and it did. In game 150, his options dry up. So he has to be a bit bold. And the Demons need to do that. Holland had to be competitive. He had a man at the back of the pack, Phil Reid, who couldn't get to the fall of the ball. Holland's all over it. He's going to be pinned here.
Once again, he's on the wrong side.
Yeah, he was caught out. The ball was actually out.
He did drag it. He did drag it back at the end.
No, but it's
I know
spilled
it's
out.
harsh.
No, but watch this. Watch it again now. Umpire McLaren's there. Now the ball spills out there. It's out of his
front,
control. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the umpire was in the wrong position and couldn't see it. So St Kilda now trying clear. Hudson had some time. Harvey under pressure, dragged down by Uzo, but not before he could get the kick away. Kuzitsky getting a lot of the footy. Great chase from Davey. Affected the kick. Green got a fist in there. Now Hamill and White. He breaks through the White tackle. Hayes, good tackle again from Brad Green. Turns it over. Wheeland. He's got Wheatley inside. Melbourne need a goal desperately here. Kick towards half forward. Uze and Fisher. Uze needs to keep his feet. Well done, Fisher. Now he's got a problem. He's got to get it out. He should be penalised. He is.
How can he get it out?
Well, he couldn't, but that's what they're paying. So let's roll with it.
Hand it straight to him, thanks.
Free kick to Uze and half forward. Margin the biggest of the match. He kicks deep into the pocket, hoping for Robertson, and Penny was able to get a fist in there and we'll get a boundary throw in 40 metres around from the Melbourne goal. There's Cameron Bruce being attended to on the interchange bench. Let's hope it's not too serious.
They've set the standard now, haven't they? In
Well,
free
they
kicks,
have.
Fisher dragged it under. And really, but normally when it comes up the top, they don't
Yeah.
pay it, do they? But
No.
anyway, they're quick on it today. McLean to full forward, Neitz with 2 to contend with. And Maxi Hudson, he's been fantastic again today. Injured last week, he was in doubt during the week. And you can never doubt his courage. Although Maguire,
How strong was that?
like a bull just charging through the brute strength. Now Ward's going to hunt Del Sando down. He was clumsy, but he's been rewarded with the free kick. I thought he maybe pushed him forward,
That's a great second effort from Daniel Ward.
wasn't it? Great
Because
stuff.
The initial tackle was broken. He just did enough to turn him in the tackle there. That was great stuff. There it is again. Just turning, just in the nick of time.
Yes. Onto the wing goes the pass. And now Nathan Carroll, who we saw in the hands of the trainers before. He's up and he's okay. Neitz is finding this impossible. He's continually contending with 2 or 3 St Kilda defenders. And really Melbourne have got to find another way, another path to goal at the moment. Kazitsky up towards Revolt. Leads Ferguson to the ball this time. Off to Hamill. It'll open up for Baker, but it actually went too far. Oh, terrible calamity from Carroll. Baker over the top, and Gary gets a gift. He rams it home. And it kills you on the turnover. And poor old Nathan Carroll will be lamenting that fumble.
Well, he will be, because he's done a reasonable job on Garrick, and we just see a couple of Melbourne defenders just being let in by their direct opponents. Revolt there was able to gather the ball, but the mistake hurts, and Garrick on the end of it.
There's Nathan Carroll. The drop mark cost the Demons. The margin out to 29 points now. There's the St Kilda bench. Blood rule, Andrew Thompson, who copped a whack in the first quarter, would have had to come from the ground.
It's getting critical now for the Demons, isn't it?
It is. The strange thing is they're not actually playing that badly. Wheatley squeezes the kick out wide. Chance here for Phil Reid. He's got it just forward to the wing. Needs to deliver. Holland in good position here over his head. Chance for Miller, hard up against the line. Tries to keep it in. It's okay. Robertson. Well done by Penny. Work to the front. And the numbers again with St Kilda. Voss. Harvey breaks the McLean tackle.
That was good.
And almost finds Mason. Needs did it brilliantly. Uze can kick a goal. He kicks and it's offline. Habs had more time than he thought there.
So a great effort by David Needs running back.
What would you do with their forward line, Sauce? Melbourne, I mean, they've got their big men down there, haven't they? But they just seem to be competing, constantly being outnumbered.
Yeah, it's a tough one because they're getting the ball inside their forward 50. They just need to try and stop it in there and just get a break.
Bizzle, as always, showing no fear. Miller collected. Play on the call. And again, we're going to get a ball up, or are we? No, holding the ball.
Clint, you actually dragged it in and you held it in there, mate. You've got to get it on straight away, Clint.
So Hamill to take the free. And now Gehrig's away. And he can line up and try and kick his third of the afternoon as Robert Harvey comes off for his rotation. Fraser Gehrig kicked 9 goals, 11 in the last 3 weeks coming into today. So he had been a little bit inaccurate. But 2 straight. In fact, 2 kicks and 2 goals. As we mentioned, Carroll actually doing a reasonable job on him. But he can look up at the scoreboard and see 3 goals next to Fraser Gehrig's name at half-time if he's accurate here, but he's not. And so the damage minimalised. It's back to 29 points. 3.5 minutes, and I reckon Melbourne need one before the bell.
Johnston to Ferguson. Critical time this for Melbourne leading into half-time because they can't afford St Kilda to get any more of a break. As you said, Hunter, they need a goal just to try and get some momentum back. Ferguson now called to play on. Pressure from Del Santo. Paul Johnson should have taken that mark. Good spoil from Kaczynski, but he found it at ground level. Well done. Kick around the corner. Chance for Whelan. And he got a bad bounce. And we'll get a boundary throw-in on centre wing. Weira, Matthew Whelan. So, boundary throw-in on the southern wing. Kaczynski. Well done, Paul Johnson. Thumps it forward. Gains about 30 metres. And eventually the ball trickles over. So, another boundary throw-in, this time between wing and half forward for the Demons. Leading possession winner on the ground. There's a couple, Hayes and Harvey, 13 possessions each for the Saints. Paul Wheatley, leading possession winner for the Demons with 13. Johnson again, deft touchdown to McDonald in game number 150. Bouncing ball inside attacking 50. Out comes Neitz. Can he gather and give? He can. Miller hard up against the line. He's got a player to the top of the goal square. Penny does very well. Gets rid of Robertson. Fists it away. Now a chance for the Saints. They've got the numbers. Jones, Peckett. And again, so efficient they are in defence. And the mark taken by Montagna at half back.
Now, is that 50 or not? Not. The umpire must have thought it was okay that Uze was able to stop Montagna from running away. Aussie Jones, who's found a bit of it this afternoon. His 10th possession is okay in for Frankie Peckett. So Peckett for the Saints. Melbourne manning up pretty well. Ferguson does the job on Revolt this time. Kaczynski can't get out of the clutches of a very strong tackle from Johnston, but Revolt's able to keep it moving. Milne circling. Gehrig took the mark anyway. Gehrig with a finger problem on his good hand, I think, there. And he always had to sit there on Carroll.
Great strength, wasn't he? He was just fending Carroll off with his forearm, just allowing the ball to fall to his favour.
And this equals their highest first half of the season, the Saints. 13 goals fired.
Great tackle there by Travis Johnson and Kaczynski, but they've just got and getting numbers around the ball, St Kilda. And well, this was just pure strength again from Fraser Gehrig. And the finish this time, and he's kicked 3 goals won this afternoon. And as the game wears on, he's going to be an ever-present threat up forward for the Saints. Justin Kaczynski taking a breather. 5 marks, 9 possessions and a couple of goals. Not a bad effort in this first half by the man who's, well, he's dominated things in the last 4 weeks. Paul Johnson has done well in the ruck. Chance though for Maguire, brushes aside McDonald. Jones now ball, they cooperate very, very well, the Saints. Long kick inside, attacking 50, revolt, he's got to beat a couple, and he does. Superb start. They seem to be jumping all around the St Kilda captain, but he stood firm and has marked strongly inside attacking 50. Well, it's just getting worse and worse. There's a leap from Bizzle. Ferguson assumed, there's a look, you talked about it earlier, Steve. You can't assume that your teammate's going to touch it. You've got to be the third man up and try and destroy the ball. And Ferguson assumed Bizzle was going to touch it and decided not to fly. So revolt from 40 metres, tries to bring it back and can't quite, hitting the inside of the post. So behind only to the St Kilda captain as we count down to half-time.
Interesting that Gehrig, Kaczynski, Hamill and Revolt all started at St Kilda in 2001, and of the possible 109 games they could have all played together, only 37. And boy, what a talent-laced side it is when they're all out there. Travis Johnston, interesting kick. They've got 25 seconds to erode here, the Demons, to not give up another goal. But it might be enough time for Blake, or perhaps his teammate Ian Powell, or even Del Santo to add to the goal tally. Eventually, though, the boundary line getting in the road. 10 seconds, or 11 in fact, remaining. 13 goals, 6. What a wonderful half of football from this team that looks like it's got it all as far as September is concerned. They are going to be a massive threat come the final, Sauce.
Well, they are. It looks like they're getting their full list together, and when you've got a forward line with Gehrig, Revolt, Kaczynski, Hamill and Milne around their feet, very hard to stop.
Well, they kicked 5 goals, 3 to 2-3 in the quarter. They've extended their lead, doubled it in fact.
Contested marks 4-1, 3 of them for the St Kilda Footy Club were taken in that second quarter.
Jeff White against Justin Kaczynski, and Kaczynski giving the Saints through Powell and Del Santo. First use, Hamill versus Ferguson. Revolt and Gehrig are back in the goal square for the Saints, and they might get a look in a moment because Hamill's got a high tackle. Initially, he was going to pay advantage there.
So there's a big matchup in this. Big matchup in the St Kilda forward line. Holland has gone to Gehrig, and speed-wise, you'd think Gehrig would have it all over him.
Yes, Ben Holland, of course, who played a fair bit of footy at centre-half back along the way when he was at Richmond. But he's going to have a big task here. Ball, the unlikely high-flying full forward. Couldn't quite drag that one down, but he still might kick a goal anyway. He can do it all. Luke Ball hammers through another one for the Saints, and they're now just about doubling the Demons.
Yes, and Luke Ball started this quarter out of the forward pocket. We just see him here go for this mark. He fumbles a mark, but the beauty of Luke Ball there is that he's back up on his feet very quickly, and I think good players, their second efforts and their ability to stay in the contest really comes to the fore, and that situation there just showed what a quality player Luke Ball is.
Yes, a great goal. Lack of pressure in the Melbourne defence there. Alan Jeans looking on. So the Saints away to a flying start in this third term. Kaczynski again, straight down to Del Santo. Into the path of Jones. Well done, he somehow got it to Hayes. Now a chance for Andrew Thompson. Just bought some time. Now back to Jones, 60 from goal. Looking for Gehrig. Gehrig couldn't quite hold on this time. Ferguson, chance to mop up. He's under pressure, nowhere really to go. through the legs of Thompson. Maloney. Now Travis Johnston. Can he find the handle? Dispossessed. Again, the numbers around the footy with the Saints. Hamill to Powell. Kick towards Revolt. He's got good position here. Paid the mark. No argument there from Ryan Ferguson. And it was intelligent stuff. We look at the kick from Powell, who didn't look goalward, but looked instead to Revolt, and that's a mark. So after starting in the midfield and copping some early attention, Nick Revolt a chance here. Now his kicking hasn't been great. He's kicked a couple of behinds today, and for the season 15-19 from set shots from just 30 metres. He squeezes it home. A great performance. So 2 goals in the opening couple of minutes of this third term, and they've just blown this game open now. This is looking very ugly for Melbourne, Steve.
Well, just a couple of minutes into this third quarter, they've had all the play, the Saints, and it's their tall forwards now that are starting to come into the play, with Garrick and Revolt playing deep, and they're going to cause all sorts of problems for this Demons defence.
Stephen Powell and Andrew Thompson have done a joint job on Travis Johnston today. 8 possessions for the Demon star, who started on the bench today, but Powell giving him plenty of niggle. It's out to 48, and it's looking very gloomy indeed for the Demons. They're still having a crack though. Miller left some debris in his wake there, and it's Brent Guerra who's caused his own damage for the Saints, of course, with the Demons this year, as we showed at the start of the day. They're under pressure again though. Ward able to work the ball out onto the wing. Baker's done a good job on Davey today, and he continues to prevail, although he may have given away a free there. No, he's actually going to get a free.
No, it's coming to Baker, yep.
Yep. So Stephen Baker, 9 possessions, and Aaron Davies had just the 6th and only kicked 1 behind, as Aussie Jones comes off for the Saints. Plenty of distance on that kick. Guerra wasn't sure whether to go or not. Carroll in the end, unimpeded, takes the mark. Goes to Green. He's one of the stars for the D's that needs to get a lot more of the footy. Busy intersection at centre half forward. Davey flying through, but again he's worried out of it, and Baker wins the day, although he may have got a bit excited. His kick wasn't flash. It landed okay though. No dramas there. Peckett. And now out to the smooth-moving Nick Del Santo. Gehrig holds his lead, and instead it's Powell that's charging away. Was, I think, hoping for Revolt, but he found Luke Ball instead. The Saints midfielders, their name midfielders, pushing forward today.
Can't get the distance anyway.
Can't get the distance anyway, says Scott McLaren.
That's an interesting comment,
nice,
isn't it? He made that comment to Adam Uzo standing on the mark because he was trying to just crib a metre, and he said, come back, you won't make the distance anyway.
Well, that'll be right in your face if he kicks a long goal from here.
Be great to see.
Luke Ball didn't hear it though.
Go, Bally.
And Scott McLaren, he's got superior footy knowledge. Boys, he knew he couldn't get it from there. And through it goes for a behind.
Aaron Davey and Stephen Baker. Baker's done, as you said, Hutto, a great lockdown job on the Melbourne forward. Wheatley to Ferguson. Now there's a nest of Melbourne players inside defence at 50. The Maloney handball was chopped off by Thompson. Now they're under pressure. Reid going nowhere. Somehow got it to Maloney. And he kicks it long, as he so often does, towards half forward. Voss going back. Very good mark, running with the flight of the football. Squares it out wide to Hayes. Hayes leading possession winner for the Saints. That's number 16. Great kick. Revolt had to stretch and get there.
Well, he ran straight past Jeff White.
Man, that was a great kick. So Nick Revolt, too far out to score. There's the Gehrig lead. That's ignored.
Let's go, Nick!
Now he's called to play on as he just kicks it long towards full forward. Hamill was wrapped up by Carroll. Off hands, chance for ball. As he pushed in the back, he was taken high.
Oops.
Yep, will take over, and the free kick will come to Luke Ball, who
It was just that last little...
The right hand of Ben Holland, wasn't it? Just over the top of the shoulder. So Luke Ball started this quarter up forward, and he's been very, very busy. 10 possessions.
Where's Scott McLaren? Can he kick the distance from there, Scott? No.
Gee, that's loose marking, isn't it? And Montagna just 15 metres across the ground on a much better position. The angle a lot more generous.
As far as the rest of the season goes, this is getting crucial time now for Melbourne.
I mean, inside 50s for this quarter is 5-1, but they're 49 points down.
So Lee Montagna come in from just 30 metres. He brings it back, and another one to St Kilda. So the margin ballooning out all the time. It's out to 55 points.
Yeah, and it's a real worry here because this game, I'm already 55 points, and they've worked pretty hard, Melbourne, but you just sense at the start of this third quarter their work rate isn't quite as good. A couple of heads are just sagging down at the moment, and it's just so important that they get their work rate back up and take it up to the Saints.
Well, Neil Danaher staring at a 6th consecutive defeat. And St Kilda staring at 5 wins in a row, 4 of them perhaps by 10 goals or more. That's just the way it's headed. Well, maybe Melbourne can resurrect the situation. They need to do something because at the moment it is swinging St Kilda's way once again. Peckett goes for Gehrig. He's got Milne at his feet. Ferguson did well that time. Fraser didn't reckon it was a good contest. He said my arm was being held. .103, the Saints have kicked 16 goals and we're only early in the third term. Hamill trying to get on the end of it. Well, he did enough. And eventually Montagna's kick punched through by Ferguson. 16-8, 104, plays 7-6-48. Travis Johnston with the duties.
And Uze on the bench for the Demons. Pretty sure he started on Luke Ball.
Johnston, the kick didn't quite favour Holland, but he was able to get it, find the handle and set Reid away. Now to Maloney. Here's a chance for the Demons. Long inside attacking 50 over the head of Neitz. Oh, Robertson, he got rid of Penny, can run in and kick goal number 5. Outstanding display up forward by Russell Robertson. 3 goals in the opening quarter, 1 in the second, and he adds to his tally there, and one of the few times the Demons have gone inside 50 in this quarter.
Well, the hard running through the middle by Maloney, and Robinson just nudged his opponent under the ball and was able to get back on it quickly, playing a sole hand up in that forward line at the moment, Russell Robinson.
Well, so we watch Robert Harvey run around the boundary line, and the great Robert Harvey, 13 possessions today. The margin back to 50. It's been 27 minutes between drinks for the Demons. They've finally kicked another goal. Maloney just able to get the release. Look at the lightning hands of Del Santo. The skills of the Saints. Baker takes it from Powell. Now Thompson to half forward. 2 against 1 here. Hamill trying to beat the odds. He couldn't, well, at least not yet. Ferguson out the back. It's getting more and more dangerous. Wheatley well dragged down, lassoed in by Ball. Del Santo likewise dispossessed. It's a hot potato. It's inside the 50. It's getting close to goal. And Maloney thinks too close for my liking. Concedes to the behind and gets the hoots of the welcoming Saints fans.
But a great effort. Wasn't it a great play by the St Kilda forward line? Just relentless tackling. There was Hamill. There was Del Santo. Just great footy.
Wheatley with the job at fullback for Melbourne. He hasn't got much on. Ferguson's positioning himself in the back pocket. He decides to go long. Searching kick. Numbers 2 on 2. Oh, brilliantly taken off hands by Thompson. Delivers towards Gehrig. Oh, good, well done by Wheatley. Got a fist in there. Chance for Reid. He's handball away to White's okay. Now Green. Going again through the corridor. He's away now, Aaron Davey. Kick towards Robertson and Neitz in the pack. This time Neitz not paid the mark. Ball spills out and again St Kilda resolute in defence. Peckett. Got a couple of players on the wing. Luke Ball makes position. He's been very busy early. chips it to that player Milne, who takes the mark just outside 50. Wants to get around Johnston and does. Stephen Milne, superb stuff. What a finish. Oh, gee, it doesn't get much better than that. Started on the bench today after kicking 4 goals last week. And there's David Neitz just wondering why he wasn't paid the mark at the other end. And St Kilda, as they've done all day, they've made Melbourne pay for those mistakes that they've made.
Well, yes, the rebounding footy there. How's that by Stephen Milne? Great little shuffle. Ball, great goal.
Classic Stephen Milne. Now, free kick in the middle going to St Kilda.
Against Travis Johnston, Hutto.
Did you see why, Andrew?
Oh, he just wrapped his arms around Andrew Thompson, and the umpire saw it and pinged him for a hole.
So Thompson, as I mentioned before, he and Stephen Power doing combined job on Travis Johnston, the most dangerous of the Demons perhaps. Gehrig with Holland and Luke Ball. A lot of pointing going on.
There's Johnston
at the top.
I think he stepped.
That was it. The hand just slipped up onto the bandage. And of course, that's a free kick.
Of course.
Of course. Inside 50. White down, but again, the Saints are farming it out. Maloney again trying to overcome the odds. He couldn't. Thompson hacked it forward. Safe hands that time from Whelan. Now you've got Brad Green at centre-half back, or Ben Holland. You can see in the top left of your screen, they've just disappeared. Maloney now, Reed, in fact, the tiny target. Didn't go the full distance, and he popped it up into the middle. Miller charging out. Good presentation. It's a good battle, that, isn't it, when they're next to each other? Miller and Maguire. That was not a good handball, though. And put his teammate Jeff White under all sorts of pressure. Miller tries to make good, but he sets up another one for a hospital job. And really, is that really holding the ball?
Well, I'm not too sure whether he had prior opportunity, but just the tackling by the Saints this quarter has been outstanding.
Yeah, great ferocity by the Saints, but still question that decision. Long kick, it's a strong one to the goal square, and Lee Montagna's nailed another one. Oh, they're coming from everywhere at the MCG.
Well, I don't think he had prior opportunity to get rid of the ball.
No, that's a heartbeat, really, isn't it?
You know, but they've worked hard. They've created opportunities, and just through their sheer tackling and putting pressure on their opposition, opportunities have opened up, and that's a classic example.
Travis Johnston on the bench for Melbourne. Just 8 possessions today. He started on the bench. And there's Cameron Bruce also in trouble. Off the ground in the second term with a knee problem. Back in the centre, Harvey. Oh, gee, was crunched hard by Miller. And earns a free kick. St Kilda lead by 63 points. And it's interesting, just the percentages. We'll talk about it in a moment as Harvey kicks to Milne, who's 10 metres in the clear inside the centre square. Kicks it out wide into the path of Gehrig. Ferguson couldn't control it. We'll get a boundary throw in inside the attacking 50 for the Saints. But after round 13, St Kilda's percentage 106.4. Coming into today, it was 121.7. So increased it over 15%. And it's only going one way after this big performance today at the MCG. Gehrig doing the ruck work, beaten by White. Milne dancing around. Gehrig tried to release it to Baker, but couldn't get there. Now Chris Johnson across the ground, dangerous kick. Blake couldn't quite get there to take the mark, but he's got the footy. Where will he go? He goes back, conceding about 30 metres, but it's okay because Revolt is marked. He can play on, drives it long to the goal square. Hamill in good position here. Couldn't take the mark. Well done by Holland.
That is deliberate.
Absolutely. What's the umpire going to do? Well, that was 5 times more deliberate than Paul Wheatley's one in the second quarter.
You might be giving Ben Holland's left foot too much credit.
Oh, jeez.
Just a little plea there. No, I didn't mean to do that. So a boundary thrown at half forward for the Saints.
Blake and White compete. Harvey just somehow got it out to Hamill. They love to just release it out the back, don't they, the Saints? Blake, Thompson, a high one. Tough for Gehrig. He got out of the headlock, but then he had Neat, so I think he's got fed up with standing down a full forward and getting bored, and he's gone into defence. He had to contend with him, big phrase. He talked about the Saints' percentage from a Melbourne point of view. They've now, after today, will have had 9 wins and 9 losses. Their average winning margin coming in before today was 37, and their average losing margin was 37, as we look at the mark domination there by the Saints, which has continued throughout the game. But they had a 74-point loss against the Brisbane Lions and a 62-point loss against Port Adelaide. This one headed potentially for their biggest loss of the year.
Holland marks and then chips it back to Ward. So just going across the ground, not much forward movement.
The mark dominations by the Saints is an interesting one, 65 to 29. They haven't been cheap marks, and there hasn't been a lot of chipping by the Saints.
Dangerous kick. Green was strong enough to hold his ground against Hayes, but then played on under pressure. Now Reid. Can he spot a target? He can. Miller needs to be strong in his. Marks in front of Maguire, off to Maloney. Maloney will go long to the goal square. Robertson one out down there. Bounces through. Great goal from Brent Maloney, one of Melbourne's best. Brent Maloney, 16 disposals today, 1 mark. That was his first goal. He's laid 4 tackles. 9 times he's kicked it inside, attacking 50. And he gets value for money, Steve, because he kicks it long invariably, and he's always very effective by doing that.
Yes, I just like his hard running through the corridor, and we just see the good work there by Russell Robinson as well.
That's it, mate. 18-10, 118, plays 9-6-60. Only halfway through this third quarter, so plenty of time for Melbourne to try and regain some respectability, but plenty of time for the Saints to add to their already enormous score, and they might do that here. Hayes to Powell, they shuffle it around again. Harvey, there's whistles going off. Scotty McLaren.
And David Needs to the back line for the Demons.
He's playing the spare man by the look of it. So I wonder if we can cross down to Scotty McLaren to see whether Lenny Hayes can make the distance from here. You'd probably say that it's beyond him. There's David Needs filling the hole and doing a good job of it. He's used to having people do that to him. Gehrig's going to lead off. There's a bit of blocking going on. Gehrig there, you can see, leading into the pocket, but Lenny thinks, oh, I can get a good piece of this, and he does. He gets a great piece of it and lands it, but it's off target.
Hayes?
Sorry, Chriso. So the margin, again, almost back to that 60 points and the doubling of the score. 18-11 plays 9-6 at the MCG.
Leading possession winner this afternoon for St Kilda. Hayes with 17. Green.
Only 8 possessions for Green.
Ward out wide. Well done, Miller. He's running hard and still presenting. Brad Miller started at centre half back on Aaron Hamill, but was switched to half forward at quarter time to try and give them something up towards full forward. Numbers with the Saints. At the back, a chance for Uze. Desperate stuff, though, by the St Kilda defence through Penny. Now Fisher emerges. What a revelation he's been over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Hayes, Montaigne, who's played pretty well. Just his second game for the year. Revolt. Gee, that was a big pack. Revolt still down. Now Hamor spun in the tackle to Powell. Blake, loose players everywhere. Brent Guerra from 30 metres. Thank you very much. Now, the goal from Guerra, but in trouble. We've got a stretcher case here. Oh. Who's down, Steve? Is it Carroll, I think?
Carroll.
Yeah. Whelan indiscriminately just jumped into the pack and collected his teammate, hip to head.
Yeah, he's out.
So you can see his hand there, but he's in real trouble.
Well, unfortunately, there's a real casualty here for the Demons. Nathan Carroll, number 41, in amongst all that. Whelan, look at him come from the side, and looked like his hip perhaps making contact with the head.
And his head sandwiched between Whelan and Ferguson.
And he's now in the hands of the trainers. The stretcher is out in amongst all the medical attendants there. And both teams are going to group together and have discussions. And the Saints already 19 goals. We'll have to start hitting the record book soon, boys. I mean, this is going to be a massive score if it continues like this.
And Steve, they're almost back to that exhilarating form we saw at the beginning of last year, where they won 10 on the trot, and when they got on top of sides, they absolutely destroyed them. And this is another example that we're witnessing today.
Well, one thing that's quite evident as we obviously our concerns goes out to Carroll. He has been moving, which is a good sign. Seen his arms move and legs, which is great for his family, and I guess he's some friends. But certainly their work rate up forward, the Saints, has been sensational. They're tackling, they're harassing, they're chasing. They've got so many goals today just from their sheer work rate without the ball, and that's got to be pleasing for Grant Thomas.
Yes, no question about that, and Medico's taking plenty of time with Nathan Carroll. Now they'll start the long walk off the ground. Daniel Ward in centre frame there. And it's been a disappointing Melbourne. They're hard to see them getting up today as we look at one of the matchups. Green and Hayes, and Lenny Hayes has been fantastic, but now Melbourne will have lost 6 on the trot if they do lose today, and really puts in serious jeopardy their place. Not, well, the top 4's you'd think gone now, but even the top 8.
Well, particularly when the next 4 weeks they face the Crows, Geelong, the Bulldogs and Essendon here at the MCG. So really, their destiny, they're winnable games. They are winnable games.
That round 20 match against Geelong, doesn't that shape as being a battle between two sides that are really struggling at this time of the year when they should be going into their best form?
Well, that's right, but certainly on today's form, well, you couldn't see them win too many of those 4 games.
The Saints month to come, Chriso?
Yeah, well, what a game next week against the Cats, because well, Geelong have been very disappointing. Now, they were disappointing last night, particularly in their conversion and their effectiveness in actually kicking goals, Anthony. And that shapes as a crucial game for the Cats as Nathan Carroll comes from the MCG. And he looks to be moving okay, so let's hope there's no serious damage there to the Melbourne defender.
It can be a brutal sport, that's for sure at times, and they were certainly like gladiators here at the start of the game this afternoon. 19-11, 125, plays 9-6-60. The margin stands at 65 points. James McDonald, a less than memorable 150th for Junior McDonald. But he's going to climb to his feet here and take his 10th possession. Get some run from young Johnson. Chris Johnson to full forward. Hudson up and about. Fisher over the top. Free kick. Advantage will be paid. Powell takes that advantage and they escape again. Ball, a bit of an up and under kick. Montagna the target. He's got a revolt scooting past. He ignores him. Wants to go to centre half forward, but he didn't have an option, so links up instead with Jason Blake, who gets himself in and out of trouble. Well done, Baker, and they start again out wide from Montagna. Revolt pushing to the wing. Neitz is filling the hole further down the field as Powell takes the mark.
Well, that's why they're able to find a loose man here, the Saints.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't just blast it long into attack. Paul Johnson runs around the ball, then he goes in after it. Hayes, meantime, trying to get it out. Blake, I thought for a moment might have been high around Whelan's head. Play on again. Hayes, Maloney all involved. Here's Del Santo looking for his 5th. Out to Harvey. Back to Guerra. Kick one a moment ago. And there's another one. Just like the other one. "20 goals on the board for the Saints. 20-11, 131 to 9-6-60.
Well, we just speak about their work rate again, just their willingness to keep the ball moving forward, their tackling, holding the ball inside their forward 50. Then all of a sudden something opens up. Del Santo's able to get it to Harvey, Harvey to Guerra, and then the goal.
So the margin continues to creep out. 71 points. Now centre square infringement. Which way will it go? Well, nothing going right for the Demons. Blake Hands off to Hayes. Long kick towards full forward. Gehrig down there. He's got it. Fraser Gehrig is very strong in the contest and just too strong there for Ben Holland.
Well, how easy was that out of the middle? Okay, a free kick was paid, but the handball, there were two. There was Hayes there, and I'm not too sure it was on the outside. There was Montagna, but not one Melbourne player was able to get to them. Great effort there by Gehrig, but the Melbourne manning up at the moment is pretty poor.
So Fraser Gehrig's kicked 3 goals. He's kicked 60 for the year from just 25 metres, comes in and adds another one to the total. So Melbourne's intensity, Steve, is just, as you said, out of the centre. They've just dropped away completely.
Well, let's have a look at these 2 St Kilda players there to the left of screen. Might have been Luke Ball on the other side, but I mean, I don't know where the Melbourne pressure is coming out of that midfield at the moment. If you're a Melbourne backman, you've got Buckley's of winning a contest.
So Big Fraze kicks his 4th goal of the afternoon. And the Saints up to 77 points in front, 21 goals. And they're certainly headed for their 2nd highest ever score at the MCG. We'll get to some more details on their highest and 2nd highest in a moment. Revolt, meantime, is kick-starting another attack. This time off half-back Voss and Harvey bouncing around. Harvey to his feet, and now Guerra with Bizzle trying to bear down on him, but he can just slide the ball across the ground here because there's another man loose into 50. He's within range. I thought Peckett might have put the foot down and scooted off towards goal. Instead, he waits.
It's just staggering. It's 3 on the 4 there, and how he got free is beyond me.
Del Santo was able to shrug off Ward for a moment and provide a lead, but Frankie Peckett, on a good day, might be able to make it from here. And it's a very good day. Gehrig, it's a mark, isn't it? Surely it's either a mark or it's a mark or a goal, so he's going to pay it a mark, I think. A mark to Fraser Gehrig. He'll go back for his 5th. I thought he marked it in the middle of the goal square. I'll stand corrected. There he is, right in the middle. I guess he landed a little bit further across, but...
Well, I'll tell you, it's not on the point post.
That is absolute rubbish. I didn't like it. Got to get it right. Wait for the whistle.
Now, what he can do here, I'll tell you what he can do. He can come right up to Holland and just kick it through the gap between Holland and the goalpost.
Yeah, but...
Well, he can.
Well, Holland will lean over and put his hand up. Doesn't matter. He kicked it anyway. Holland reckons he touched it. Nah. Fraser's got 5. Saints fans have got flags. They've got banners. They've got beanies. They've got everything waving. Here's the Gehrig mark. And in amongst all the confusion, there's another goal on the board to the Saints. 22. Richie will be happy with that scoreline.
Well, real concerns for Neil Danaher. 9 goals, 5 for the quarter. Now, here's a stat for you. St Kilda have played 695 quarters at the MCG. This quarter is their 2nd highest ever. 9 goals, 5. So that's an indication of how well they're going, and we've still got plenty of time left to add to that.
I mentioned their greatest ever score in the history of the club, 31 goals, 18, 204, and ominously enough for the D's, it was against Melbourne, and it was here back in 1978. The Demons scored 141 points themselves that day. It'll take a bit of doing from here, but they're only 9 goals away from it.
And 11-5 is their best ever quarter in that match in 1978, so they're not far away from it. Bizzle at half-back. Oh, well done, Milne. Got a hand in there. Brilliantly picked it up. He'll get a free kick here for a push in the back. They're not done with yet.
And look, you'd say, Sauce, that Melbourne are obviously not playing well, but it's more a positive for St Kilda, wouldn't you say, than it is necessarily negative for Melbourne?
Well, I think St Kilda have put them under enormous pressure, and we just see Bizzle. Bizzle's a loose man at the moment, but you've got to get across and support your players. If you're a loose man, it's not about sweeping up. You're there to support your players, and if this continues, St Kilda will kick another 15 goals for the game.
Milne kicks out very wide. Oh, good effort out there by Green, and he's done enough to turn it over. McDonald to Whelan, back to Green, but the pressure's just immense. Great tackle coming from Guerra. Now Maloney's under the pump. Thompson, his tackler. Ferguson just pumps it away. Well done, McDonald. Johnston at half-back, but under constant pressure, Melbourne. Great kick, sets Ward away. He can run Daniel Ward. Long inside attacking 50. Robertson's played a lone hand. He's got to beat Hudson, who just fists it towards the line. Would go over, yes. And St Kilda fans appreciate the work of Max Hudson.
Having a great season, isn't he, Maxie? Would have to be in line for an All-Australian position.
Well, doubt coming into today after that heavy collision last Friday night. In the game at the Dome against the Magpies, but he's okay. Miller up against Blake. Blake gets it down to Powell. Revolt. Shrugged the tackle. Kicks it only as far as Chris Johnson. Little fumble though. Just makes it a little more difficult. Johnston. Underground handball to Holland's okay, and he gives it back to Chris Johnson. What can he set up from here? Long inside attacking 50. Robertson. Oh, gee, good strong effort in front by Blake. Play on's the court. Green snap at goal. He's offline, and gee, there's three of them there that can raffle it. Fisher.
Did you see the intensity of the Melbourne players to get to that? Absolutely none.
It is looking a bit like training, isn't it, at the moment? McDonald, and it can easily look like that as the wheels start to fall off. Maguire, that was a bit better forward line tackling and intensity from the Demons.
Oh, he's pinged it for deliberate. Oh, dear. Have a look at the teammate who's right on the boundary line here. I think it's Luke Ball. That is very harsh. We'll have a look at it in a moment, but he had a teammate right on the boundary line. There it is. Now here's the handball there towards Ball, who's right there.
Miller goes back, and he might have just put it through from the boundary line. Great kick.
Melbourne fan pretty happy about the Brad Miller goal. Let's have another look at this. There's Maguire, the handball. Luke Ball was almost able to keep it in.
But what I don't understand, what do you do when you get tackled? You really can't direct where the ball's going to go. It's basically an instinct to just try and hit the ball.
One of the determining things in a deliberate out of bounds is meant to be the pressure you're under. That's one of the factors to be considered, and he was obviously being tackled, so that's pretty high, I would have thought. Not that I need to encourage you any further, Stephen, in your lambasting of the umpires today.
You've been controversial today, Hutto.
Oh, yeah. White to Miller, now to Green. A little kick around the body. Gets to Reid, although he fumbles. That doesn't help the situation. Uze now surrounded by St Kilda players, and he's going to get a free kick out of Uze. So he's got it just outside attacking 50. No one really stands the mark, so he plays on. Long left foot kick, goalward, and it's home. So Melbourne kick 2 in a minute.
Well, Adam Uze, 2 goals for today, just a 12 disposals. Has spent a bit of time on the bench today. There's the free kick, and we always know that when he has a shot at goal, he's every chance. That's a lovely left foot kick for goal.
So Demons get a couple back. It's 71 points the difference. 14 players from the Saints have got 10 possessions or more. Just 9 for the Demons at this stage. Jeff White still trying hard. Taking it away though, Montagna, and they're looking dangerous again. Pow heaves it inside 50. Aaron Hamill in his first game back hasn't got a lot of it, but boy, he's been right in there competing, and he almost managed to escape. Now, was he legged there? He did appear as if he was.
Well, he put the ball on the ground while he was in the tackle.
So it's either holding the ball or tripping. Either way, let's have another look.
Now he's tackled here by Ferguson and puts it on the ground.
Yeah, well, he wasn't legged. They're looking at the replay. So you're probably right, Chris Hart. For once. Blake over the top. Down to Thompson. Off to Guerra. Wasn't great delivery for Kazitsky, but he's still keeping the Saints in it here. Milne and Ward. Was that on the full? No. Out of bounds. It's okay. Just under a minute remaining in this third quarter. And you can see that is another sign. The last 9 marks inside 50 have all been from St Kilda players. Powell, young Johnson gets the clearing kick, but once again, how far does it clear the area for the Saints? It's out of bounds. Big Fraser. Gehrig, just the 7 disposals and 5 marks, but 5 of them have been goals. White smashing it down, but they're all Saints at the front. Montagna not quite within range. Happy to set it up and give Kazitsky a chance. Neats cast in the role of the defender. Ozzie Jones kept persisting and it all opened up for him. He just couldn't get it online. It's just not his year at the moment, is it, Ozzie Jones? One of the pieces of the puzzle still to come into shape for the Saints as far as September is concerned, but he's having a crack. Lenny Hayes leads the way in possession totals today. 20 for the Saints. Harvey with 19 in his return. Revolt 18 along with Thompson. Hamill 17 possessions in fact.
Green kicks long. Kazitsky up high. Couldn't take the mark. Now at ground level. Bizzle. Hard in on him was Powell. Ball in dispute. Comes out eventually to Powell. Jones still a chance here for the Saints. Jones, oh gee, floats it across towards centre half forward. Gehrig. Deft touch, Montagna, no one near him, he kicks and he goes on the siren. So three-quarter time and the Saints lead, well, commandingly 70.
Thanks, Andy. Last quarter, 23-12, plays 11-6.
What can Melbourne muster in this final term? Kazitsky, Harvey, ball, good pressure coming from Jeff White, Maguire, Kazitsky again, they work it out and they work through the centre square. Oh, there's Revolt, good chase and run down by Davey, but he got the kick away. It affected the kick, and Neats, who gets a cheer from the Melbourne fans, chips to Wheatley, who gets some treatment from Revolt, perhaps paying him back for some early stuff in that first quarter where it seemed like all of Melbourne were looking to get into Nick Revolt. Maloney, long towards half forward, going back Maguire, fist from Fisher. Well done by Robertson, almost trapped the loose footy. Montagna diving in on top of it. In fact, it was Powell. But St Kilda, as they have done for most of the afternoon, they've worked it out. Free kick to Penny, advantage paid, and ball kicks across the ground, mark taken by Kazitsky.
Who's got Milne off the leash at half forward. Ooh, takes the mark under a bit of pressure from Bizzle, sharing it around now. Guerra off the right foot. And he guided it pretty nicely. The lead from Hamill, couldn't mark it, but again, he brought it to the front where there were Saints everywhere. Hayes, Montagna, Powell, they kept it moving. Kazitsky, he's got Gehrig deep, but Ferguson in the slot there takes a pretty comfortable mark in front. What to expect then for this last quarter from the Demons, Sauce?
Well, they'd just be looking to win the quarter. There's no, they've been absolutely outplayed in the first 3 quarters, but the third quarter was a real poor sign. But I'm sure Neil Danaher would have just said, let's make sure we just win the quarter and get some of our pride.
Sting gone out of it at the moment as Johnson goes into the middle, but they have to show that fight, don't they, the Demons in this last quarter. Such important matches ahead, the last 4 games of the year. Reid takes the white mark from the white kick. He puts the accelerator down. Hudson again in good shape. Now his opponent, of course, is Robertson. Penny took an eternity and just got a handball away. Likewise, McLean under siege. Saints, the cool-headed ball. He didn't quite know Robertson was there, but he did enough to get out of it. Harvey driving for the centre. A couple of one-on-one contests there. Powell was flying at the front. Johnston at the back eventually wins it, but straight away Powell was on top of him. And they lock it under and force another bounce in the middle of the ground. It's been a good combination, hasn't it, as we look at Maxie Hudson back there now and Russell Robertson. The old firm of Thompson and Powell have been teaming up on various victims each week, and it gives Grant Thomas a bit of flexibility.
Well, they're starting to get their best team back on the pitch, and they're able to do that. But look, one thing that's been quite evident, we've spoken about their tackling, but it's the way they've gone about. They've brought their players down to the ground. They've followed through with their tackles, St Kilda.
Neath's kick eventually got to Philip Reid from 30 metres. He waltzes in and kicks a behind. So about sums it up, I think, for the Demons today. Philip Reid in game number 100. Now behind only, so the margin back to 77 points. The biggest was at the 30-minute mark of the third quarter. He's gone out to 83. Del Santo, Powell, has got about 40 metres on his nearest opponent, so he just lopes along, has 3 bounces casually, then kicks long towards half forward. Ferguson in good position, takes a good mark, and he's away. Johnston, Bizzle provides the run from half back. Haven't seen much of that today. Wobbles it towards half forward, but Petty takes a comfortable mark. Del Santo didn't really kick it to the advantage there of Voss, so gave Brad Green an opportunity. Chris Johnson gave it straight up to Voss. Hayes, Powell in deep into the pocket. Gehrig in good position, just eluded him, and well, he almost had the opportunity there to kick for goal number 6, but instead we'll get a boundary throw in deep in St Kilda's left forward pocket.
Here's some of the prime movers of the Demons, who they need to get a lot of footy, but unfortunately they haven't today. Sauce 8 disposals for Clint Bizzle. We'll check on a few others in a moment. There's Adamuze and the various opponents they've had. 13, or number 13 of course.
Kaczynski, that's a throw. What a superb tackle. Umpire McLaren, good umpiring. He was able to pick it up. Ferguson just took too long. Powell applied the tackle and he didn't handball correctly, and so...
And we've spoken about this today, Michael, their tackling and the way they've followed through with the tackling. I think this is one area when Brisbane were up and going, they were exceptional at. They tackled hard, they brought the play to ground, which took them out of the contest.
So Stephen Powell, there he is, 15 metres in front, and he kicks a goal for the Saints. So the margin out to 83 points, which is the biggest of the, equal to the biggest of the match, and it looks like, well, it's shaping up as a 100-point drubbing.
Well, yeah, they're 13 goal kickers for the Saints today, and that's exceptional. But the most impressive thing about the Saints today, I've liked their work rate, and I've said it time and time again today, but just good to see Powell there get the rewards for his hard effort.
So it's back at 83 again now, and Jeff White, who's taken on the number 1 marking job for much of the day, gets it down to Johnston. They're back towards their 50, and McLean, who's an important mover for them, hasn't seen that much of it today. Gets them in towards Robertson, who's been their prime target up forward. Jeff White in the forward line. Even he can't get boot to ball. Kaczynski, Voss, Harvey. Decision-making, just that edge the Saints have got on Melbourne and what we've seen today. Clear thinking and great disposal. That's not a great example of it. But Hayes wins the day anyway against young Johnson. It looks as if he may have been given the task on Hayes, maybe to learn a lesson for a young man. Maloney was trying to get away, but the umpire gave him the red light, not the green one. Now it's a throw in. Brad Green, the next man to look at. He's just had 12 possessions for the day.
Yeah, well, you just can't have your gun players get so little of the ball, particularly when most of them are on ballers.
He averages 18 per game, Brad Green. And he had 29, I think, last week. Travis Johnston, the next one to look at. 12 possessions for Travis. He's been in magnificent form. He's averaged 20.8 possessions per game. In fact, higher than that since round 9, around the 24 possession mark. So he's well down today. As Aussie Jones curls one. I think Fraser thought that was going out on the full. He's not happy. You reckon he'd be happy enough with things? Well, maybe it was a free kick he was after. As we look at Phil Reid. 14 possessions for Phil Reid. Hasn't really been able to stymie the effect of those St Kilda opponents. It's deep in attack. Gehrig applying the physical pressure. That may have come from the boot of Andrew Thompson, but no. And Aaron Hamill's turn to have a break.
yeah, it's been a great return by Aaron Hamill. We talked about it at three-quarter time. 17 possessions, 7 tackles, and kicked the goal. But he's been fantastic applying the forward pressure in that attacking 50 for the Saints. McLean, now a chance for Bizzle. Oh, gee, that's a poor kick. It just lands inside the line, but the hand up, and a bit of frustration there for Clint Bizzle, who so often is the architect across half-back for the Demons, but it hasn't happened today. Jeff White, 27 hit-outs today. Blake, in fact, Kosicki got rid of him there, and White will get the free kick on centre wing. Coming in for disposal number 16. 6 marks, a couple of tackles. That's what's ahead of him. Kicks towards the lead of Miller. Miller up in front, can't take the mark, or was taken out of the play by Voss. Ball still in and now over, so a boundary throw in at half forward for the Demons.
Percentage we touched on earlier, the Demons' percentage after round 3 this year was 121.5. Going into today, it was down to 101.9. In fact, that was after round 12, it was 121.5. It's now 97.3. So it's been smashed today.
It's almost a double loss, isn't it?
I guess the teams that are looking back and watching on with glee are teams like Richmond and Brisbane and Port Adelaide that are just trying to shore up their place in the 8.
So a boundary throw in. Paul Johnson, Luke Ball overruns it. Rare mistake for him today. Maloney, who's probably been Melbourne's best. In fact, he has been their best. He's had 19 disposals, kicked it inside, attacking 50 10 times, 4 tackles, kicked a goal.
Another blow for Melbourne, Chriso, with Matthew Whelan coming off with that finger.
So it doesn't get any better. Hayes confronted by White. Travis Johnston, gang tackle it again. Montagna and Del Santo. Play on's the call. Blake, oh, he just gave it to Hayes, to the feet of Del Santo, but he's got great balance, Nick Del Santo. He gathers it easily. Kick towards half forward at the back. Oh, mark taken by Powell. Well done by Revolt. He knew he was there. Powell from 45 blazes away, and as he scrape it in for a behind, he does. So just the behind, and that's the biggest lead of the match. There's Matthew Whelan getting some attention to his finger. Margin 84 points.
Well, the Demons' finals campaign, or their run towards September, in tatters at the moment, with Cameron Bruce the major casualty, but some others as well. McLean takes the mark from the kick in. We saw Carroll come from the ground, and now Whelan. Jeff White's battled pretty hard today, Chriso. 17 possessions, 27 hit-outs.
Yes, he's had to do the bulk of the ruck work and has done a pretty good job.
Miller. Another one. He's, in fact, their 3rd highest possession winner today. 14 disposals and 6 marks. Kicked 2 goals. Robertson came but lost his footing. Fisher also couldn't drag it in. Voss, that was clever. Advantage will be paid here. Hudson, he's got Revolt away, or he can go short to Del Santo, gives it to Harvey, and the Saints get that familiar flow through the middle of the ground. Revolt kept on running. He streaks away from Johnson, looks into an open forward line. He just blazes away. Kosicki and Bizzle both running with the flight. Bizzle took the mark, gave it across to Ward, and now Green, and sends it up to the wing where Reid is clear to Davey.
He's been quiet today, Aaron Davey.
Yeah, credit to Stephen Baker. Baker there going against White. Couldn't quite compete for height. White able to get it out to Davey. And Davey flashing away, but really couldn't get it moving as he would have liked. Demons eventually prevail. Wheatley, who started so grandly, over to Maloney, who thumps another one to the square. Hudson, can he get fingertips to it? It doesn't matter, as the post loom large.
And once again, we just saw St Kilda's work rate without the ball. Look, they might have just conceded that goal, but the chase actually put pressure on Maloney, and had he had another steps, it would have been another couple of steps, it would have been a certain goal, but their intensity's maintained.
Floater by Voss gives Robertson a chance on Blake. He does very well, Russell Robertson. Arched the back, got away from Blake, but no support whatsoever. Forced to go back to Bizzle. He's confronted by a couple. Well done, handball over the top. He kept his head and got it to Reid, who kicks to White, who's been busy in this final term. A kick across the ground. McLean knocked it to the advantage of Uze, who kicks from 40 and kicks a goal for the Demons. Well, they worked it out pretty well on the southern wing, Steve. They were under pressure, but they were able to keep their thoughts and composure. The kick from White wasn't a great one, but McLean was able to knock it down to Uzo, waiting at the front of the pack. And he's certainly a very good finisher. No question about that.
He is. He hasn't had a great day, Adam Uzo. Just the 14 disposals, 3 goals. I guess he's done his job in terms of goals, but hasn't had a great day.
Nick Revolt, 20 possessions for the day. How's he look down there, Andy?
Oh, he looks knackered at the moment, Hutto, but he's looked fantastic all day, really.
Special comments from the Supercoach on the boundary. 24-13 to 12-8.
Steve, Melbourne now will have lost their 6th game in a row. I mean, Neil Danaher's had that challenge the last couple of weeks to get them in that winning frame of mind. What does he do now?
Well, I think they came out today, they were pumped up, but they're coming up against Adelaide now, and really it's up to Adelaide, and it's up to the players. And a lot of these players, as good as the start of the season was, they're playing for their future, and it really gets back to a bit of soul searching and what they want to get out of the season. Oh, that is not good.
David Neitz in strife, I think, boys.
Well, that might just be the season there.
This is becoming a disastrous day for the Demons. Neat's in the hands of the trainer. That could be the story as Kazitsky. The other story is the Saints' demolition job they've done on the Demons here today. 157 plays 80 as Bizzle. We'll get back to Neitz in a moment. Lays it off to Ferguson, now Maloney. Nowhere to go, so he goes out to the wing. That's a good kick, well placed. And the mark taken by McLean. Full head of steam. And they're one short in the forward line. Neitz is on his feet and looks okay. That's the good news. But we don't know how conclusive that analysis of his medical condition is right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's banged his knee into the turf. He's coming off from the field.
Yeah, he's limping off. We'll get back and have a look at him in a moment. Meantime, Russell Robertson's having a shot for goal. He's kicked 5 straight. And you can make it 6 straight now. That's a great kick and a great effort from Robbo. And you can see the pain etched all over the face of David Neitz. He's kicked a couple of goals in the last quarter, and 12-8-80 plays 24-13, 157.
No, it was good play there from Brock McLean, who made position and found Robertson, whose kicking today has been a real highlight. 6 goals to that man, Russell Robertson. Played deep today and has certainly been, well, a standout player on the ground for Melbourne. Haven't had many. White gets it down again. Uze tried to get boot the ball, couldn't. Now a chance for Thompson. Baker has had the shutdown job on Aaron Davey. Delivers wide into the path of Kazitsky, who takes a spectacular slips catch type mark. Thought it might have bubbled out there for a moment, but the umpires paid it. Kazitsky, and he's got loose players, 2 of them inside attacking 50. One of them's Del Santo. The other one's Peckett, who runs on, but he's manned up by Reed. So Del Santo with an opportunity to go back. And there it is again. Oh, maybe he kept it above the turf. A great effort, nonetheless, by Justin Kazitsky. Now, Nick Del Santo kicked 4 goals in a blistering opening quarter. Chance here to kick goal number 5. From 45 metres, the kick is close. It's home. 5 goals to Nick Del Santo. So the Saints just with their 2nd goal of the quarter. Yeah, great mark. Great mark. I shouldn't have doubted him, should I? A great mark from Kazitsky and a great finish by Del Santo.
Well, yes, what a game he's played. 5 goals for the day, 22 possessions, and Kazitsky involved in it once again. Good signs for the Saints. All their good players are playing well, and good signs for the Saints supporters.
I talked earlier about the number of players as we see David Neitz getting some treatment on either team with 10 possessions or more. St Kilda have got only 5 players who haven't had 10 possessions today, and they're all within range. It's back to 77 points the margin. I'll tell you who the 5 are in a moment. We'll see if we can get them across the line. Del Santo with 8.5 minutes remaining. Out wide, and that's a fine mark by Blake. 14 possessions for Jason Blake, playing his part as well, with Ackland a late withdrawal today. Well, there's one of them, Brent Guerra. He's coming in for his 10th possession, so there's only 4 now that are under 10. Fisher goes short, finds ball. Ball coming in for his 19th touch, and he's almost within range. Cranks it up to full forward. Kaczynski flies, and it's through for a behind.
He's done well. You mentioned Blake today, Hutto. If you were on the St Kilda squad at the moment, you wouldn't want to miss a game through injury or poor form, because they're starting to get their act together, and gee, it's going to be very hard to break into this team.
Well, Stephen Milnes had 9 possessions, Luke Penny 8, Gehrig and Hudson with 7 each.
Gehrig's kicked 5 goals.
Yeah.
So Wheatley, thumping kick. Target is White. Couldn't quite hold on. Well done, Powell. Oh, good handball, Montagna. He tried to get it to Thompson, just had too much on the kick. Milne missed it. So a chance here for Chris Johnson, who just kicks it wide into space. But the first man will be there, will be Guerra. Good chase though by Uzo. Made up some ground. We push him in the back, no. But they both fell to ground. So now a chance for Peckett. Peckett kicks towards half forward. Out comes Gehrig. Well done, Holland. Got a fist in there. Maloney. Johnston tries to break a couple. In the end, hurriedly kicks it intelligently and cleverly to Reed, who kicks towards half forward. Miller up in front. Couldn't quite hold on. Del Santo. Voss, sweeping handball. Jones, he's got 3 players ahead of the footy. Powell's one of them. Shares it with Montagna, who kicks deep into the pocket. Gehrig one out here. Gehrig, oh, he couldn't quite hold on. Johnston with the crumb, and he delivers to Bizzle, who marks at half-back.
And looks up. He has to go across with the pass here. Got a couple of options. Goes for the shorter one. Wheatley dancing around. Not a great kick. Let Guerra in. Well done, and Guerra almost took it away from Ward. Can give it back towards Milne as a free kick. It's going to go to St Kilda, I think. And it's going to come back to Guerra. Who pokes it into the middle. Ball flying past. Goes along to Gehrig. White puts his big frame in front, and he takes the mark. So Gehrig hasn't found it all that easy.
No, he hasn't.
Get a lot of footy.
They're certainly dropping a player back. And Hutto, we mentioned what Melbourne needed to do in the coming week or two, particularly against the Crows. And this is the worst possible situation you could be in terms of a group having lost the last 6 games. But it really gets back to the players. I think the players, their senior group, have got to really make a call here, because they can all feel sorry for themselves, but they really do need to lead from the front.
Well,
guys like White and Green and Uze, whose form isn't good at the moment, but obviously David Meats might miss a game or two, maybe this season's gone, but it comes from your leadership group, and the quicker they really get themselves back up and hype the training, because that's where it's going to start through the week. Their training through the week's got to be at a tempo that they can lift the kids and get them through the week and have another set themselves for the Crows over in Adelaide.
Of course, not a big preparation coming into this game, coming off the Sunday evening game over there in Perth. Voss hooks it into the pocket. Let's see how Fraser goes this time. Holland did it on the bit that time. Ben Holland, who came off a 22 possession game, over to White, who's had 21 for the Demons and certainly has been one of their better players. He's still in the thick of it as Johnson gets the handball away to Reed. Down towards Robertson and Hudson and Maguire.
How good was Hudson there just to take Robinson out of the contest? Great mark by Maguire, but Hudson's ability just to nudge Robinson out of the contest was fantastic.
Some concerned Demon fans looking on. No doubt about that as Montagna strides away. And you mentioned places in this St Kilda side. They are very valuable at the moment, and Montagna's come in at a good time as Fraser takes it.
Oh dear, just a look towards the umpire, I suspect.
He's been a little bit frustrated this quarter. Holland has done really well on the one-on-one contest, but this is what Fraser needs to do. Get out on the lead. And, look, great grab
He felt he may have been impeded a few times.
Yeah, he has. But I reckon he's one of the best stares or nasty looks in the competition, Fraser.
Oh, yeah, he's in the top 10 in that area, that's for sure. He's coming in for number 6. You wouldn't know it, but he's kicked another one. "63 goals for the season for Fraser Gehrig. He is the leading goal kicker in the competition.
It's a good mark, isn't it? Down low.
Fraser Gehrig now 2 goals clear of Mark Williams on top of the goal-kicking tally. Of course, Williams playing against West Coast today, so it may be different by day's end.
26 goals, 14. St Kilda's 5th highest score ever. Gives you an indication of how well they've played, and a couple of Demon fans have had enough.
Thanks, John.
They trudge towards the exit gates here at the MCG. Big pack of players around the football.
Good job. Play on.
Margin 84 points. Maloney's tried hard all day. A little kick towards half forward. Whelan was held, and he's got the free kick. Another possession for Maloney. Kick towards Robertson. Got rid of his opponent in Hudson, but Fisher backing him up, concedes it behind.
Been good today, Fisher.
Well, they all have, Sauce, haven't they?
But
really?
it's good to see some of the unsung heroes like Stephen Baker today. He's played a fantastic game on Aaron Davey. Young Fisher, he's done well. So, look, as good as it's been to see a lot of the St Kilda key players play well, it has been a team effort, and I'm sure Grant Thomas would be delighted with that.
Initial effort was great there from Big Johnson, but Maguire persisted and he wins the day, and the Saints can go again. Pickett with the acceleration along the wing. Keep on going, Frankie, they yell. So he does, and guides it for Gehrig again. And Fraser's just getting away here. Chips the ball into full forward. Over the top, Blake just couldn't drag it down. Maloney, and now the Demons through McLean. Delayed the initial kick. Goes for Big Johnson on the wing. He takes the mark. He's got Uze further afield. He goes back instead for Johnston, who's still got Uze away. Squeezed a kick absolutely nowhere. Fisher over the top for the Saints. Plenty of Demons around. Hurried one from Johnson, not bad. Whelan, who was injured early, back on the ground. Couldn't trap it. Voss there with him. Gets it back. Here's Johnson. Touched off the boot. Green, held without it. And he'll get a free and a shot for goal.
Just a bit too long, Brett. You're right on it, mate. Brady.
I don't want to labour it, but Milne and Gehrig both on 9 possessions, so it could well be by the end that 20 out of the 22 players will have had 10 possessions or more for the Saints, which is quite astonishing. Been a complete performance, but we're watching Brad Green at the moment, and we're looking straight at it, and we can tell you that that is going to miss. And behind, and it certainly hasn't been Brad Green's day.
So Voss at full-back. Now he's got Blake running very hard for him. The kick wasn't a great one, but Blake's got plenty of time. He might be just content to let it roll over. He is, so a boundary throw in. Half forward for the Demons.
Thanks, Flamo. Yeah.
Some words to himself. Jason Blake, 15 disposals, couple of marks, 9 hit-outs. Played the role as the running ruckman well again today. Taps it this time to Hayes, to Thompson, and over the back, over the top to Powell, who kicks towards Del Santos, who has been absolutely superb today, Nick Del Santo. His skills have been exquisite. Kick towards Gehrig, and there's a classic example. What a beautiful kick it was, weighted to perfection. And Gehrig didn't have to break stride as he charged from full forward, and he'll kick for goal from 50 metres. He kicked for goal number 7. Loads up. Oh, it's a cracking kick. He's kicked 7. What a start, Fraser Gehrig. So, Haddo's right. Gehrig now enters with his 10th possession.
Well,
There's only three. There's only three now that haven't achieved 10 possessions for the Saints. So, Fraser Gehrig has kicked 7 goals won from 8 marks and 10 disposals, and as always is a real threat up forward. So margin now 88 points. Neil Danaher can just look on. Jeff White has battled manfully, wins another hit out. Chris Johnson chasing hard. Well done by Blake, got underneath the pack. Powell now releases Lenny Hayes around Johnston, wants to be direct. Gee, a wobbly old kick, and Ferguson does very well diving forward to mark on his chest.
Thanks, Ryan. Right there, mate. Play on.
Kick out wide. And Jeff White just backward of the wing, draws a player over the top to McLean. White, McLean. Sounds like brushing your teeth as he kicks towards the half forward. Well done by Whelan, knocked it towards Davey. Whelan goes back in and gets it. He'll be in trouble here, Matthew Whelan. He's going to be pinged. It doesn't matter because that is the final siren.